Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. It is a lovely morning in the Ozarks. Just nice crisp air. Gonna warm up later today, but this morning it's absolutely beautiful. A lot of things have been going on. Took yesterday off for Passover, but man, just lots of stuff happening. I saw that, no surprise to anyone, that the spending bill for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan passed. $96 billion or something like that being spent. We just print some more money. I mean, it's just ink and paper, linen. I get it, but who cares? We're also sending $1 billion in weapons over to Ukraine. Russia moved tactical nukes on the border with Finland. And the White House is considering some sanctions on China because of their involvement in all this kind of stuff. So that's another escalation. It's like we as a United States cannot help ourselves, it seems, anymore with trying to get in everybody's business and just trying to provoke some kind of war. I mean, I don't know. Anyways, the main thing that I wanted to talk about is that it was also reported yesterday, I believe it was by Fox News, that the White House is very strongly considering a national emergency when it comes to the environment, declaring some national critical emergency on the environment. They're still pushing this. This is really kind of the linchpin, the key or whatever for their big globalist agenda, is that it's got to be the environment. Because here's the thing, that's such a vague thing, and then when you, at least in their argument, when you try to figure out, well, what's the cause of all this environmental problem, it's us, the people, right? That's what they tell us. So it's not really against a fight against preserving or fight for preserving the environment. It's a fight against the people. That's what it is. It's a nice little way of saying, they're at war with you and I. And so they're considering that. I guess it's probably a toss-up between, World War III, the bird flu pandemic, or an environmental national emergency declaration. I mean, that's a hard choice, I'll admit. But the environmental one, they're talking about the amount of powers that the president had, or that the government had during COVID, during all of that declaration, the pandemic emergency. And they're saying that if the president had those kind of powers when it comes to the environment, my goodness, there's so much good things that he could do. Of course, that just means that there's so much things that they could restrict from you, forcing you into electric vehicles, which is interesting because right now electric vehicles aren't that popular. It's like the new is already worn off. Sales have dropped considerably. Even Tesla's losing money. I mean, at least they've lost money as in their values dropped. The prices of these vehicles have dropped considerably because most people realize that unless you live in a 15-minute city, they're not practical. They're absolutely not practical because it's so difficult to find a place to charge them and takes so long and all this kind of stuff. They're just not practical, at least not now. The technology needs to catch up with it. But they want to push that on you because they want to end the oil stuff. They want to keep you from traveling all over the place. They want the 15-minute city concept. And having a vehicle that you can so easily travel all over the country isn't a good thing. I think that's possibly part of all this airline stuff. It's almost not even interesting anymore with the amount of planes that are having all kinds of difficulties, right? They're breaking down, falling apart constantly. And it's possible, I've said this before, that that's part of their little psyop to say, well, commercial airlines are unsafe. We need to ground the fleet until we can figure out if it's, if we can fix this problem. And then of course it never comes back, because part of their little World Economic Forum reset plan is to greatly limit your ability to travel on air. Unless, of course, you're an elite and you have your own private jet. Then you can just fly all over the place every day and burn up fuel and no one cares. But for us little peons, that's not going to happen. The whole bird flu in the dairy, and then probably eventually in the beef. Well, it's transferred to, chickens and cattle and stuff. Well, we got to get rid of them because those harm the environment anyways. You need to be eating bug food. Do you see a pattern here? Because there is a pattern. When you look at a lot of things that they're pushing, the pattern is that they want you to, number one, go off of anything natural. If it's highly processed, chemical, genetically modified, lab created, that's good. If it's something that the Almighty created and intended for you to eat, that's bad. And that's part of this environmental thing. It's not what you think. I mean, look where I live. This isn't my property, but this is where I live. I love nature. I absolutely love it. I mean, if it was up to me, I'd be living in a grass hut out here. That's why, God created woman, because if it wasn't for woman, man would have still been living in grass huts out in the. That's a joke, guys. I love nature, and I want to keep it nice and clean and healthy. I don't like seeing trash in nature. I don't like it being polluted. This idea that the only people that care about the environment are the far left is absolutely absurd. And you all know that too. This is God's creation. He created it so that we can enjoy the beauty of it. And so this idea that the right doesn't care is absurd. The difference is what they're wanting to do. They're wanting to use this as a tool. They don't care about the environment. Like I said, they're the ones flying around in private jets and living in monstrous homes that take up more energy than your average little small town. They don't care about the environment. They care about controlling you. And this is one of those things. Is it going to be the thing? I don't know. I suspect, like I've said all along, is it's not going to be just one thing that's used to kind of tear us apart. It's multiple things hitting from different angles, different areas. That's why it feels like everything. It's not just one thing falling apart. It's everything falling apart. And the reason why it feels that way is because it is. That's their plan, is to cause everything to fall apart. And so it looks like the whole world is just in such a big mess that we need something new, right? We need something new because nothing works anymore. Nothing flows. Everything's just in chaos. Order out of chaos is what they're trying to create, because they're the ones that are creating the chaos. And this environmental thing is just another one of those. And they've been hinting about this for a while. They've been talking about this, about how, the president needs to declare an environmental emergency and all this kind of stuff. I don't know that it's going to happen, but the rumors have surfaced again. And it would fit perfectly in time with the election of being able to divert attention off of, the negative attention that Biden is getting because of various other things, that he once again rallies the troops, rallies the left on the environment. And we need to be ready for that because, look at the stuff that's come out already in the last, few years, where they're regulating stoves and regulating ceiling fans and regulating toilets and light bulbs and heaters and air conditioners and all this kind of stuff. They're going to regulate way more than that. Way more than that. They're going to get into your food. They're going to determine that eating beef, eating meat is, that's bad for the environment. Your milk, now they're trying to push this raw milk is dangerous now because of bird flu. Well, no, raw milk coming from these big corporate conglomerate dairy farms may be dangerous, but the raw milk where I get it from is not, because it's done on a very small scale and very carefully and sanitary. But they're not going to tell you that. They're going to try to make everyone believe that all this stuff that we used to think was so healthy and natural is bad for us, so that we can run to all of their chemical, lab-created, just abomination of stuff. And they can control you, control how you react. You know, it's gonna be a good excuse for digital currency. Well, that's going to help the environment too. You know, we'll be able to control what people spend their money on, control how much fuel that they use, control where they go. All of this stuff is going to happen. They're going to start controlling an air flight because, well, those are unsafe, so we got to ground those. There is a pattern here, and I'm not saying that these things will absolutely happen. I'm just saying that there's a pattern lining up that would be a perfect storm when it comes to the environment, and when it comes to them using that as an excuse to exert a lot more control over us. So we need to be ready for this. This is why I'm telling you, folks. I tell you all the time, almost every day, you need to be self-sufficient as much as possible. Have a plan. You don't have to be living a total self-sufficient lifestyle right now. I mean, if you want to, that's great, but you certainly should have the ability to do that, because at some point soon they're going to start cracking down on everyone. You know, is Biden going to do an emergency on the environment right now? Maybe, maybe not. But will it eventually happen? Whether it's Biden or someone else, will it eventually happen? I'd say the odds are very good of that. And we have to be ready for that. We have to start getting ourselves prepared, becoming self-sufficient, getting out of these cities where they can control us even more, and building community so that we can ride out the storm that is upon us. Folks, it's time to get your houses in order and to prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.